All right, good morning, buenos dias. Going to call this meeting to order, and I'm going to ask Director Nelson if you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. We're gonna do the roll call.
Yes. Good morning. President Powell will be absent for today's meeting. Vice President Estrada.
Here.
Director Bianco will also be absent for today's meeting. Director Aguilar
Here.
and Director Nelson.
Here.
Thank you. And we do have a quorum.
Okay, so with that, we're gonna move on to additions, deletions, adjustments to the agenda.
Yes, sir. Staff is asked to pull item 8D as in Delta. There's just some additional review they want to do, and we'll reschedule that for the next meeting on the 9th of December.
And then also, Mr. Vice President, we have just a change to the order of the items for finance. We would like to take item F as in Frank first, and then E as in Edward, and then G as in George.
Okay, F,
E,
E, and G. Okay, thank you.
that would be Foxtrot Echo Golf.
Okay, with that, we will be moving on to public comments. Please address the board at the podium. Limit your remarks 3 minutes, and if you wish, state your name and address for the record. Clerk, is there any members of the public who wish to speak at this time?
Mr. Vice President, I do not believe we have anybody in the audience, but we did receive several public comment letters that have been distributed to the board and will be added to the record. I'm trying to find my notes here on the items. I believe it was 8B, 8C, 8D, and then we had comments on EFG, and then comments related to two closed session items, matters 13C and D. And again, copies have been distributed to the board and will be made available to the public if so requested.
And these are all from the same commenter.
And they are all received from Sunshine Herrera.
Okay, thank you for that. With that, we're going to be moving on to special presentations and recognitions. And we have several employee recognitions for summer and fall of 2025. I think I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 anniversaries and 1, 2, 3, 4 retirements. My understanding is that there's only one person in attendance here today, and that's for an anniversary. And so I have a little bit of some history here to read about Mr. Anthony, is it Burrell? Is that the correct last name? Thank you, sir. Pump maintenance technician for 25 years. Tony joined CVWD in 2000, beginning his career in domestic construction where he worked for 3 years. He then transitioned to the valve and hydrant repair section for a couple of years before joining the pump maintenance, where he has now served for 19 years. As a valued team member, Tony is recognized as a system expert whose skills and knowledge play a vital role in keeping our systems operating at peak efficiency. He has been both a teacher and a mentor to new technicians entering the shop. Tony demonstrates a strong work ethic and a deep commitment to safety for himself and his coworkers. Outside of work, Tony has been a devoted husband to his wife, Roberta, for 33 years and is a proud father of 4 sons and 2 daughters. Family and faith are central to his life, shaping the values he carries into everything he does. Among family and friends, he's also known as DJ Jimmy Jam, the one who keeps the music going with classic old school party tracks at gatherings. Yeah, you play the good jams. Tony enjoys barbecuing and cooking for loved ones, coaching youth sports and actively participating in his Christian community. Tony takes great pride in the camaraderie shared with his coworkers and in fostering a safe work environment. He finds true job satisfaction in a day's work well done, especially knowing that every team member goes home safely at the end of the day. Beyond his professional achievements, he often speaks fondly of his deep love for his family. As he approaches retirement, he looks forward to traveling and spending quality time with his loving wife, visiting family, and embracing the next chapter of life together. His unwavering dedication, continuous pursuit of excellence, and heartfelt commitment to both his work and loved ones have left an indelible mark on all who have had the pleasure of working alongside him. We celebrate his remarkable journey and the legacy he leaves behind. Sir, if you could come up here so that we may recognize you. Thank you.
Photos first. Put your hat face on. All right, I think this is working. Tony, over to you. Song?
10-4, CVWD, appreciate it for the past and the future. Mr. J, Angel, Homer, all of my colleagues, Chad Austin, DC. It's been a pleasure working here at the Coachella Valley Water District. It helped me take care of my family and all my colleagues that I come across since I've been here. That's what keeps me going. Okay, there's a lot of hardworking individuals out there that's doing their job to the best of their ability and to achieve what needs to be done above and beyond. And that's what I choose to do when I first come here. I had several opportunities other places, but I chose the CVWD, Coachella Valley Water District. Okay, I would like for the young people that's coming in, prepare themselves. Prepare yourself to what you need to do to get to where you need to go if you decide to work at CVWD. Because there is a lot of opportunities here for you to excel, you know. So prepare yourself. Take care of your business, as I say to all my little league kids that I coach and stuff like that. TCB, take care of your business. You know what I mean? Again, CVWD, colleagues, appreciate you. Board members, thank you for giving me time to be here. I don't know what the day's going to be yet, but it's coming. You know, so I appreciate it again. Jim Bear's always, and the past, Mr. Robin, that was Bill was named after, and Heidi, you know, God bless their soul. You know, it was very good individuals, you know what I mean? So I thank them, you know. Heidi gave me an opportunity to come here and work. And I had a situation before I got here, but she said, come back, Tony, I have a spot for you. You know what I mean? So thank you to Heidi, for sure. Okay? Jim Bear, it's good to see you, man. Okay. Make them round so we can see you more.
Well, Tony, congratulations again, and you gotta have the DJ ready when Jim shows up. So you gotta play the jams. All right. Before we move on, I am going to read some of the other names here who have an anniversary that they're celebrating, and that's Jose Lorigo Garcia, engineering technician, 25 years. Luis Martinez, domestic water technician, 25 years. Rene Ramirez, conservation program specialist, 25 years. Hector Rodriguez, engineer 2, 25 years. David Cifuentes, electronic specialist, 25 years. Christopher Alice, operating crew chief, domestic, 20 years. Charles Westerman, control systems operator 2, 20 years. And we have a few retirements. William Blankenship, accounting technician, 39 years. Sarah Lopez, senior engineering technician, 23 years. Jorge Mojica, collections maintenance technician, 22 years. And Daniel Martin, conservation program specialist, 20 years. So thank you, everybody, and congratulations. Okay. With that, we're going to move on to the consent calendar. Are there any items the board would like to pull?
No.
Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I would move approval of the consent calendar.
Thank
I'll
you.
second.
Thank you. There's a motion. There's a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's 3-0. With 2 absents, right? Okay. So, thank you. With that, we will be moving on to the action items. First up, we have engineering. Miss Sabrina Neese, engineering manager.
Green. You need it green.
Good morning. The item before you today is our request to award a construction contract to General Pump Company Incorporated in the amount of $680,691 for the well rehabilitation project for fiscal year 26. It includes well numbers 5718-1, 5725-1. It's under specification number 2025-38. And our request also includes additional expenditures for a total request of $1,090,000. This project is included in the Domestic Water Fund fiscal year 25-26 budget in the amount of $1,090,000, so there'll be no adverse impact to the budget. The purpose of this project is to rehabilitate 2 wells that have chromium concentration in excess of the current MCL for chromium-6. So we're going to attempt to rehabilitate these 2 wells similar to what we did last year, which was successful, and hopefully keep these wells in our production system without having to drill new wells or construct additional treatment facilities. And I'd be happy to answer any additional questions you may have.
Just one general question. How many more of these do we have? Are these the last 2 or?
Well, we have an annual rehabilitation program, so that program will continue. For this fiscal year, because of the chromium-6 concentrations, we did repurpose the program to rehabilitate these 2 wells specific for that purpose. So the program will continue on every year. But in terms of the chromium-6 well rehabilitation, it will depend on how successful these rehabilitations are. There won't be very many after this, though, even if these are successful.
Okay, yeah, that I was referring to the chromium-6 wells that we're hoping to not have to treat.
Yeah.
But so these are the first that we're gonna tackle.
Technically the second, because we did one last year.
Okay. Yeah. How did that turn out?
It went fairly well. We had hoped to achieve slightly lower chromium concentrations, but we are below the MCL. So we're hoping to
Okay.
achieve the same here.
We'll
to
learn
not
more
have to
from
treat
these 2 then.
Yeah, and so if we aren't successful with these wells, then we will have to treat them.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Are there any other questions from the board?
I don't have any other questions. I would say if you could get back to us on the success rate on these, that'd be great. It sounds like the first one went not as good as planned, but still better than it was. So
Yeah, absolutely.
excellent. Yeah.
Good. Looking forward to it. Is there a motion to approve this item?
I'll also move.
Second.
There's a motion. That's a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Up next, we have Environmental Services. First up is Director of Environmental Services, Ms. Joanne Lee.
Good morning, Vice President Estrada and members of the board. My name is Joanne Lay, Director of Environmental Services. Staff is requesting this morning that the board approve the Thermal Ranch Specific Plan Water supply verification. Terra Nova Planning and Research Inc. is present. If you have any question for the project specifically, as you recall, the project water supply assessment was approved by the board on July 11, 2023 to support the project sequence process and to comply with SB 610 and 1262. To date, the project total demand has not changed. See here, here's the project site. It is located within the unincorporated area of Thermal Riverside County. The project is located between Avenues 62 and 64, Harrison Street and Tyler Street. Here is the proposed planting areas. The project comprises of about 619 acres of vacant land, which is proposed a master plan focusing on equestrian lifestyle community with 6 planting areas as such as shown here. That includes 1,682 dwelling units, which is considered as a subdivision, which triggers this verification under SB 221. 285,000 square feet of commercial space, 150 key hotel, just over 17 million square feet of open and landscaped area, and private and public pools and some irrigation ponds. The planting area shown here, it's pretty much is conceptual, but to illustrate that only certain areas would have turf and the rest would be raw land that would require ongoing dust control during equestrian season. And onto the total water demand of the project. As I mentioned before, it has not changed, and the total is 1,753 acre feet per year, and the various areas, demands of certain areas are shown here. So that projected water demand is equivalent to 2.83 acre feet per acre. And the project's total water demand accounts for approximately 3.6% of our total planned increase in urban water demand of 48,100 acre feet per year by 2045. This demand is accounted for under the expected growth as described in our urban water management plan. And this verification has been prepared in compliance with the requirement of SB 221, as I mentioned earlier, but does not relieve the project from complying with all applicable state, county, city, and local ordinance or regulations, including our landscape ordinance and indoor water use performance standard provided in the California Water Code now or in the future. That concludes my presentation, and I can answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. I just have a general question because I don't think we've ever had a verification. I don't recall ever having to do a verification, and so I'm a little interested in knowing what did we do to what do we have to verify, or what was different from approving the water supply assessment to now verifying. It seems like the water demand is the same, and so what if you could briefly let us know what does that mean?
Yeah, sure. So there are 2 different processes for development projects. The first step is the water supply assessment as required under the Senate Bill 610 and 1265, I believe, to comply with the CEQA process aspect of the project. So we've done that in 2023, but because the project is proposing 1,600 plus dwelling units. That's more than 500 as required under SB 221. Therefore, we have to approve a verification as well.
So other than the work that was already done for the WSA, there's no additional work that or documents that are produced. It's simply bringing it back to
Pretty much, yes.
approve the
And some projects move forward as that in such that they need the WSA first to go through the CEQA process with the lead agency. They don't necessarily have a track map at the time, so therefore they wouldn't need a verification just yet. In this case, the project did have a track map, but for some reason we separated the two processes at the beginning. So here we are moving forward with the verification.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to understand since I don't think we trigger verifications very often. I haven't seen
very
that.
So I had the same question, Costello, and I asked it before, and I got different answers, which were, you put all the answers together and you have a bigger answer. And there's actually a website that the CVWD has that shows water supply assessments versus water verifications, right? And so I went on that and I read through that and mentioned all of the different, Senate bills that were signed into law. But it seems to me that when you're developing a project, you have to do the environmental documents early, and maybe you might not have that track map all buttoned up, and so there's a time lag, right, between the water supply assessment and when the maps are submitted and so forth.
Yeah.
And this is then just verifying that the water supply assessment is accurate
Yeah.
and done well and so forth. So
Yeah.
that's one of the answers I got. And then, of course, as Joanne mentioned, is when it actually goes into construction, right? So there's the water ordinance that we have that they'll have to meet as well, which is, stringent, in itself. When you look at, this is agricultural land, so it's not really vacant. There's some structures on the land, and it's been farmed, for quite some time. And when you look at the average water use in the Coachella for agricultural use, it's 3.8, and this is coming in at 2.83, and so it's an acre foot below that, which is good for our overall water use. But if you look at the specific land, it's actually probably a little closer to 2.8. The water use on those particular parcels, but when you look at the average, it's using less. So all the numbers look good to me in that regard, and I had a lot of questions about this.
Yeah, no, it's a good project, and it's obvious that it's less water than its current use, and
Yeah.
I was just, but I think it made sense what you just said, where because there might not be a track map, it's not defining certain spaces that so the seems to me like the verification is like a true up, like okay, like
A refinement. Right?
Yeah, so I think that makes sense to me. So thank you.
And then also there are many times when the water district is asked to approve both together. So there are many times I think that we have approved both together in the past. The fact that this one was separate maybe raised that question.
Okay, it makes sense. Well, thank you for bringing it back, and sounds like nothing's changed and things look good. So
Joe, and I had a
Yes.
question. So the plot plan shows a well site. So that's a future well site. And how does that get dedicated? And at what point? What triggers the dedication for that? Or is that an existing well site?
So it depends on the use and how much it would be. It might be considered as our rack well.
So I know those are conditions set by engineering. So maybe either Sabrina or Carrie, you could come up to give some clarification on the dedication of those well sites.
So they are required to provide 4 well sites as part of this development. And so they can either be dedicated on the track map or they can be dedicated by a separate instrument if they're off-site well sites within the same pressure zone but not on the track map.
So 4 well sites, is that what I heard? Okay.
Yeah. But they have to be approved. Location has to be approved. So sometimes that process hasn't taken place yet when they're ready to record. So
Okay.
they reserve spots, but or they might show up. This is maybe an old plan.
Okay. So to be determined.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? No, is there a motion to approve this item?
I would move approval of the item.
There's a motion.
I'll
There's-
second.
There's a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item carries 3-0. All right. Next up, we have Mr. William Patterson. Approval of contracts for vegetation removal services.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So this item today is requesting authorization from the general manager to execute 2 professional service agreements, one with Mariposa Landscaping and one with Universal Green for on-call landscape services. These contracts would be for 2 years with 3 one-year optional extensions. We're estimating that $150,000 per year allocated from the environmental services operating budget would be made available for managing both of these contracts. These contracts are being put in place to help support CVWD's compliance on mitigation for permits related to CVWD projects. Some of those projects include the Coachella Canal Lining Project, the CVSC 54 to Thermal Improvements Project, and the Palm Desert Groundwater Replenishment Phase 2 mitigation site. With that, I'll take any questions.
This is a recurring item, right? We do this.
This is new. It will be a recurring item, but we have on-call environmental consultants that we regularly use, and this is mimicking that process for these services.
The reason I said that is because I thought that I had seen professional agreement services come in for Mariposa Landscape,
Yes.
and I thought that it was probably also for
Yeah.
work in the channel. So I'm just wondering if that expired and we went through the whole bidding
So
process.
they have a couple different contracts with CVWD. They do have a contract with landscaping for with operations to
Okay.
do beautification of our facilities and those kinds of activities. We also had a contract with them for the initiation of our mitigation site and the 54 to Thermal project. But this is for long-term ongoing activities and additional activities for other projects.
So was this triggered by new projects and new requirements because of permits, or is this also offsetting some of our general operations, for example, for the maintenance of the channel, which I imagine, we've been maintaining.
It's for new projects.
It's for new projects, so it's not augmenting, I think, our own operations. Because I assume that we're always clearing the channel.
If I can help clarify.
Okay.
So we had an on-call that we have sometimes for tree cutting maintenance along the channel. It's really difficult. We had to work through the Army Corps. This is specifically for environmental mitigation projects as a result of capital improvement. We suggested it if there's debris outside the channel or some type of remediation, restoration, whatever it may be, that they have their own on-call contractor. But it's not normal, typical maintenance. It's specific to the 54 to 58 thermal drop, the Mariposa project, but also for any additional work that he sees, that he can have his own contractor, his own scope of work. It's not for the normal maintenance of
Okay.
the channel. At some point in the next year, we'll be going out for an on-call for like tree removal services, and we'll coordinate with Williams.
Okay, good. That makes sense.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? Nope. Okay, is there a motion to approve this item?
Yes, I'll move approval.
It's a motion. There's a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. That passes
Thank you.
3-0. Thank you. Thank you, William. And so I think we're skipping D. We're moving that on to the next meeting.
Yes, sir.
So we are going to move on to finance, and we're going to start with item F, which is agreement with Chandler Asset Management. This is
Hi, Jenny. The whole podium? Am I too short? Is that? Good. Okay.
I didn't know you could do that. Is that new?
Oh, hey, Joanne, did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the first time.
Thank you for the assistance. The vertically challenged appreciate assistance sometimes. Good morning, board members. Today we have three contracts that we'll be going over. The first one, I did ask to move the agenda slightly, only because the PFM and straddling contracts really go hand in hand, and that discussion can be condensed into those items. But first, we'll take Chandler. Chandler has been providing services to the district since 2019. This would actually be, yes, an extension of their services, but a new contract that we are proposing to be in effect until November 30th of 2030. Within this term of the contract, Chandler has proposed to lower their fees, which yields about $10,000 annually of savings, which would be about $50,000 during the term of the agreement. Current fees are listed on the staff report as a reference point, but these are the fees on the screen that they are proposing. Essentially, they've consolidated the number of tiers and the pricing within each tier to be lower as well. Just as a reminder, Chandler does provide biannual reports to the board, comprehensive economic updates. We do also provide a full listing of all of the holdings that Chandler administers monthly within our GM report. They have consistently outperformed the benchmark, and we have never had any issues with their services. They are very responsive and additionally provide guidance on the investment policy. They've never had any violations of the investment policy and are very responsive to kind of our staff's request, and we do meet monthly with them as well. The next slide just provides an overview of some of those additional services that Chandler does support the district with. And I do have Jenny on the line as well if you would like to ask Chandler any questions in particular.
Any particular questions from board members?
Could you go back to the chart? I just want to be correct in how I'm reading that. So the 1%, so the rate, the fee is 0.06 of the 1.5 million?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it's less than 1%.
Yes.
Okay. And then as the assets get higher, that rate of fee goes down.
Correct.
So okay. Okay, I got it.
And the current portfolio balance is hovering right about $550 million. We anticipate to keep it around that rate. As we have investments mature and additional interest earnings, we may want to withdraw some of those funds and put them in additional liquidity funds. We have a lot of construction coming up, and so we don't anticipate having that number go up much more than that. And so that's why we have the proposed fees based on that amount there.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, is there a motion to approve this item?
Yeah, I'll move approval.
It's a motion.
I'll second, but I just want to make another comment for the record. Staff is already aware of this, but I had made, I'd indicated that I had a concern that neither of these three items had gone to the Finance Committee for discussion, and there was some back and forth between staff and Jim, but whether or not that's, necessarily a requirement, and it isn't, but it's something that I think I would like to see done in the future.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I seconded the motion.
So there's a motion, a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. That's 3-0. And moving on to item. See, we went E. Yeah, but so back to item
Thank
E.
you, Yolanda. Oops. The other one, Yolanda was on the right one before.
So we're back to item E.
The original item E, yes.
Yep.
There you go.
There you go.
Yes. Yes, Jonathan should be on the line for this one from Stradling. So Stradling has provided CVWD with tax and bond and tax counsel, excuse me, since 2018. Prior to this, the district had probably no debt, I believe, and slowly has accumulated different debt, grants, bond issuances, so Stradling and PFM have worked jointly together on a lot of these issuances throughout those years. Again, this is an extension of services, but also a new contract through June 30th of 2029. Both the PFM and Stradling contracts, we wanted to align those. Currently, they don't expire at the same time. The Stradling contract expires in December, and the PFM contract expires in February. And so this would align both of those contracts. The reason that's important is because they do provide services in tandem quite often. Oftentimes, if we have to call PFM for a strategy, we're also verifying with Stradling to make sure it's legally acceptable and not in conflict with any of our other requirements for grants and loans or debt issuances, resolutions, items of that nature. So they provide very specific counsel to us regarding all these debt structures that the district has now a part of. There are certain bond issuances. We wanted to be fully transparent with both of these contracts and let you know that if we did issue bonds, there would be additional services and those fees would be included within those structures. The amount of the bond issuances, these are the service fees associated with them, not the amount of the bonds themselves, of course. And they do, the bond amounts were noted on the staff reports. They are based on last year's budget. They will be adjusted this year, and they continue to be evaluated. If we don't need to issue debt, we won't. There's fees associated with that, and if we have enough cash balance, or we could do an interfund loan for bridge financing, or any other mechanism, those would be items that both PFM and Stradling would assist us with in evaluating. But again, for full transparency, if and when we did issue debt, according to our current models or our current financial plan, these would be the fees associated with those debts. There would be 2 in fiscal year 26-27, which is why the bond issuance amount is double, essentially. And then those other services that are included on here are these mostly noted at the bottom of these services that are provided. So those at the top, all the way, the top row and the second row minus the one on the far right, those are all associated with bond issuances, so we wouldn't trigger those needs unless we did have some sort of debt structure. But all those other services, reviewing resolutions, policies, comprehensive review as we go through the budget process of when and if we need to trigger debt issuances, credit analysis. Oftentimes the State Water Resource Control Board requires legal review of loans. And so those are things that both Stradling and PFM provide us with on an ongoing basis. So if we go back, those other services, the $50,000, that's the services that would cover. We haven't reached the $50,000 mark on an annual basis yet, but we seem to continue to have ongoing grants and loans that we want to be evaluating. Right now, the services hover at about $33,000 per year for those other services. So I'm happy to answer any other questions you might have for this particular contract. And again, Jonathan is on the line as well.
I have a question on one of the service items. So it says here that they review our debt and grant management policies.
Mm-hmm.
Have we had that done, or is that just an on-call
We do have some amendments that we are proposing to bring back, and we want to be prepared for that debt issuance. And so both Stradley and PFM have provided us some red line comments to share with the Finance Committee and then also bring back to the board.
Okay, great, thanks.
I'm looking at the staff report and the table with the potential bonds, and you have a big one for 2020. Is that 2029? Is that being driven by Chromium 6? And so, and then are we going to do something for Chromium 6 also in 2026? Or is
We
that
weren't anticipating to now, but one of the other reasons we really want to bring forward these contracts is because we just had our budget kickoff meeting yesterday for 26-27. So as part of that process, we also have various CIP meetings coming up in December. And so we would want to evaluate the progress of those projects in tandem with PFM and Stradley and share that information with them so that they can help us identify if we even need to issue the initial domestic fund debt. We've already asked, well, maybe we want to do some inter-fund loan, but only for a period of 2 or 3 years, and then fold in that debt issuance into 2029 potentially. What does that look like, and can it still be tax exempt? What type of resolutions we need to bring? We want to make sure we legally structure it appropriately in order to really consider that. And so those are all things that PFM and Stradling would assist with in the next 45 days or so. I have been told by both of them that if we wanted to issue debt this fiscal year, which would be in the spring, which was the initial intent, that we would need to start that process in January. And so having these contracts in place allows us to then continue those conversations and have support with their services to evaluate that going forward.
okay? So you mentioned that sometimes you tag team certain things, and I think you say PMF and Stradling.
PFM is the next contract on the agenda.
Yes, and so, and it caught my ear when you brought up the State Water Resource Control Board, and you said sometimes you need to review loan documents, and so like in that instance, how do you use them both?
Jonathan, do you want to help answer that question? Because they do have to provide a legal letter as well as a review of the loan agreements on an ongoing basis.
I guess I'm trying to figure out the clear separation between a financial advisor and then someone like Stradling, who seems to be more
Bond counsel.
bond counsel. How did they complement
Right.
each other?
So I gave the example earlier of potential interfund loan. And so PFM and the district might come up with these ideas of what if we did an interfund loan, and we said, but we wanted to then get it reimbursed through a bond issuance in the future. So we would reach out to Stradling and say, how can we make that happen? Is that legally possible? What type of strategy do we need? And Stradling then responds and says, well, you need to do X, Y, Z. You need to have a resolution in place. You need to make sure that it doesn't interfere with your current policies, your debt structure. They have special tax counsel on their side that also reviews these documents and makes sure that when they come to the board, they are structured appropriately so that they're not challenged later to then being reimbursed by debt.
Okay.
So
That's-
it's the same process in general as when you issue bonds. You need the investment advisor to determine what bonds to issue. You need the bond counsel to prepare the documents and to give the legal opinion. It's the same process for getting these loans.
Okay, understood. That's helpful.
Okay.
Thank you. Any questions? Any other questions? No. Is there a motion to approve this item?
Move approval.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. That's 3-0. Moving on to your last item, item G.
Thank you, Yolanda. So similar, same debt structures that we referenced in the previous Stradling contract. These financial services always have been in place since 2018. again, an extension of services, a new contract through June 30th of 2029. The other services provided by PFM are also noted on that final, the final list of services here at the bottom row, in addition to the middle one on the right, which is review and comment on financial agreements. And those ongoing services would be reviewing, again, policies, debt resolutions, assisting with the budget process, modeling, sensitivity analysis, making sure essentially that when we're bringing forth even like rate increases to the board, that we have a second pair of eyes and analysis on even those recommendations before they are brought forth. They also do keep a pulse on WIFIA, SRF loans, applications, negotiations with those. Oftentimes we'll, just recently in the SRF agreement, we had a reference to the BMO line of credit, which no longer exists, and we were able to renegotiate that to remove that term from the agreement, so there is no conflict of interest or reference to something that doesn't exist anymore. So these are things that they help us both identify and then remove from these agreements. The top row and then most of that middle row, again, are associated with bond issuance services. And so those would only be triggered when and if a bond is issued with PFM assisting the district. So we can go back to this one if you'd like. And I believe Darren is on the line as well, if you have any questions for either one of us. No. Fred is from PFM as well.
Any questions from the board? No. Is there a motion to approve this item?
Yeah, I'll move.
Motion, there's a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Carries 3-0. Thank you.
Thanks, Carla.
Thank you, Carla.
All right, moving on to operations, Mr. Dan Charlton.
Good morning. This request is asked for the general manager to amend the operation, maintenance, and license agreements with CV Link. Probably about 13 years ago, we started working with CVAG on the design and conceptual layout of the link. It currently traverses between Palm Springs and Avenue 56 or Airport in Coachella, absent Rancho Mirage, Indian Wells, and then the Cook connector, which we're still in the design phase, which is Cook, that comes up right beside between us and Toscana onto Hovely Lane. So in October 23rd, 2018, we signed a license agreement with them, with CVAG, to do the operation maintenance from the inside of the southerly northern side of the CV link to the property line. When we put in the link, that took away one of our two access roads, the entire length, which is huge for us. But at the same time, they've agreed to accept the maintenance responsibilities, graffiti, dust control. There's no grading of the roadway anymore. The outer bank, the levee, as far as any type of maintenance there. So what we agreed to was kind of like the CCLP agreement back in the day, where we have a base rate. And then because we're not doing any more work, we basically went through the whole stretch, looked at all our past costs and what we spent on maintenance between Washington and Dillon. And in October 18, we signed that agreement, and it was $173,000. And it has an escalator, so that's now $216,000. And then we've just added from Dillon down to Airport Boulevard, and that's another $141,000. So long story longer, the 2026 base rate with this amendment will be $358,000 a year, and it'll continue to go up with an inflator. But again, if you can imagine, that's right now from Washington to Airport, it's more than 15 miles of a stretch that we don't have to deal with anything from the inner bank to the property along for the whole stretch. So I think it's a great construct for them. They want to have control on this area, and it's great for us because we can't get in there anyway to do a lot of this work. Unless there's a major event, all the responsibilities, all the customer service phone calls, graffiti, dust control, everything is the responsibility of CVAG. I don't know if they're going to just hire a project manager or if they're going to...
They hired the Desert Health...
the recreation.
Desert Rec.
I heard they were going to hire Desert Rec, but I didn't know that was solidified. But in
that's
the
what I
end, they will now have $358,000 a year with this amendment to be able to maintain that area of the channel for the entire 15-mile stretch.
So that would include brush that grows like weeds and so forth that are between the link itself and the property line, the homeowner's property
Yeah,
line back
we
there.
get complaints all the time about, oh, you have brush up against my block wall. Well, that's the responsibility of
Hey,
that.
Dan, can I get you to speak closer to the mic?
That
way.
is
There
the
you go.
responsibility of CBAG now.
Not slow.
Or both.
Or maybe you just raise the podium.
Yeah. It's my fault.
So Dan, also then is the link itself, can the CVWD use their vehicles to drive on the link?
So we have the ability with notice to be able to shut down sections of the link, and they have to do all the detours and everything else that we're required. For example, if we have a bark on the channel, imagine a massive lawnmower that can shoot something 200 feet.
Right.
We can shut down a mile at a time, whatever it may be, coordinate with them so that nobody's on the link for that section. So anytime we need to be doing inspection services, we have the right to go and do inspection services, but also for our maintenance services as well. We have the ability to shut down portions of it, and the responsibility of customer engagement is entirely on CBAG.
Yeah, so if you're doing inspection tours, you could probably take a golf cart and
We have golf carts here.
you know, and
Yeah.
and just drive the length instead of using a pickup truck.
That's a good morning job with the coffee in your hand. But,
We used to drive that with trucks though, but I think that's a good question. Are we allowed to use?
we made sure that they designed the link with the reinforcement necessary. Technically, we can take a dozer across it should we need to. So it has the ability. Obviously, it'll do a little damage, but in an emergency, we have the right to do whatever we need to do.
Yeah, but you can use
Yeah,
tires.
truck is irrelevant.
and,
There's going to be no
railroad
compression
ties.
issues with the truck. But a dozer, long term, you could have some type of damage. So obviously, we still have the northerly side. We try to make sure that we can still have the ability to get our excavators and dozers and drop them on the northerly side. But if in an emergency, we would have that ability. Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when the rains were coming down this weekend. You know, the rain-ageddon. You know, everybody was, you know, saying we're going to get so much rain, and you know, someone told me like back in Mississippi, it's just like a Tuesday, right? But we got all those warnings. So if the flood channel kind of eats away at the channel and so forth, and we have to go in and make emergency repairs or just general repairs on that, and it affects the CV link in some fashion, how does that work?
They're responsible.
Okay.
Yeah. For example, Dillon Airport Boulevard, we had to make sure that we had certain things in place before we allowed them to, but airport downstream, the only thing that we have protected is down to 58. They want to go all the way to the sea, 58 downstream. We don't know if it's even in the right construct, meaning we might need to raise a levee 2 feet so it's not ready. They need to go through all the hydraulic analysis and work with our engineering team. All the other trails, whether it's Bear Creek, Palm Valley Channel, and or Arts and Music Fest, shouldn't be a problem at all.
Okay.
Yeah, if we, sorry, Peter, we did.
No, I'm done. Yeah.
Did we have a chance to review the agreement? I didn't know that Desert Recreation District had taken on that responsibility to review that agreement and to make sure that
So
any issues that we might have are.
we don't have any agreement with Desert Rec. Our agreement is with CVAG, and Jeff Ray reviewed the amendment, but we will still be only coordinating through CVAG at this point in time. The agreement outlines that they have the right to identify, or they have the responsibility to identify a project manager to take all the phone calls and do our coordination with us. They have not given us any notice formally that that's Desert Rec at this point in time, but I do know that they just hired a public works director, Ken Samulo.
From Indian
Probably
Wells?
said it wrong. That was with Indian Wells. He's now the public works director for Desert Rec, so maybe that's the construct that they're looking at. So.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure that the lines of communication, particularly when the public have issues, you know, don't wind up on your desk.
Yeah, absolutely. No, the intent is that they take full responsibility, even dust control, which is, you know, we're in a desert and everybody thinks we can put chemical suppressant on 1,000 square miles, which, you know, there's a lot of dust complaints when it gets windy. They're responsible for all those as well. So.
Okay, good.
Okay, not seeing any other questions. Is there a motion to approve this item?
Yes, I'll move that we approve the item.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That carries 3-0.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to informational items and reports. Written communications to the board as filed. Ms. Bermudez.
We had no communications for this period, and then just for a note, the legislative report is just for filing, unless, of course, the board had a question and staff could present or answer any questions you may
Any
have.
questions from the board relating to the 2025 legislative session report? No? Okay, with that, then that will be filed. Moving on to board comments and requests for future agenda items. We'll start off with Director Nelson.
Sure. So, the state Department of Water Resources keeps up, the 8-station, 6-station, 5-station rainfall amounts and, all the snow elevations. And it's kind of interesting. This atmospheric river and as well as October was quite wet as well. And so in Northern California, where State Water Project supplies originate from, the rainfall is 161% of normal. That being said, the snowpack's only 16% of normal. So these are pretty wet storms that without a lot of snowfall, which is unfortunate, but rain's better than nothing. And Central California is at 216% of rainfall, but 0% of historical snowfall. So those are the types of numbers that are coming through, which affect our water supply as well from the north. And that's really all I had this morning.
Sir?
Yeah, thank you, Vice President. I just wanted to mention the passing, you may have read about this in the paper, of Mark Carnevale, council member from Cathedral City, who passed away unexpectedly on Sunday. Mark was a fellow colleague on the city council for a number of years when I was there. He was mayor for a couple of years and operated and owned Nicolino's restaurant for a long time, and more recently opened up Nick's Bistro in Cathedral City. So he was a really good guy. He was a good friend of ours, contributed a lot of money over the years to the Boys and Girls Club, and he's going to be missed sadly. So we want to send our condolences to his wife, Rhonda, and their children.
Thank you. I just have one comment. Mayor Villaraigosa, who, as you know, is running for governor, will be in the Valley on Thursday. I believe he will be joining the Growing Coachella Valley general meeting that they have scheduled that day in the city of Coachella. And so if anybody is interested in maybe hearing what he might have to say, it might be a good thing to stop by.
No, for sure.
And that's in the Coachella Corporate Yard at 2:30 p.m. And with that, any board requests for future agenda items?
No.
No. Okay, so we'll move on to board meeting reports. This first one's mine. I was asked to attend the Oasis Elementary School for their career day, so I got to speak to a classroom about water and water comes from and all that nice stuff. And I went to Oasis Elementary School, but not that one. That's the new one. The original one was on Avenue 76, but that got demoed and became a park. So this is a new facility here that I did not attend, but I did go to Oasis for a number of years. So I was happy to go back and be there. Next meeting, October 28th, Rancho Mirage, State of the City, Director Aguilar.
Yes, I attended that. It was held at the Omni, and this is one in a series of State of the Cities that are held this time of the year throughout the valley. I was there with Karen. Borgia was there with me, and a lot of presentations by the mayor primarily. One of the more interesting presentations was on the Cotina and their plans and their future. So that was on the 28th.
Thank you. Next one, November 5th. That was the CiviLink grand opening in the city of Coachella. I was there also, so if you could add me there, it was Director Powell, Director Bianco, and myself. Director Powell actually made some remarks on behalf of the district, and very positive. I still haven't used it, so gotta find a excuse to use it.
Yeah.
Maybe I can use one of the CVWD golf carts.
And do an inspection.
Do an inspection. Go out there, do an
They
inspection.
might even give you a driver.
They might. Yeah, they might. That'd be good. I'll take Dan with me. All right. Yeah, and there's a number of those happening, so I think we have a few of those coming up. So November 6th, they had the one for. Well, no, that's actually another state of the city. Director Aguilar. Desert Hot Springs.
Desert Hot Springs. So November 6th was kind of Desert Hot Springs Day. Started with attending the State of the City that was held at the Desert Hot Springs Recreation Center. Excuse me. And it was well attended. Mayor Mattis gave a series of updates on what's happening in the city. Had a chance to also talk with a couple of the Mission Springs Water District Board about our conversations with them about the ID8 situation. And also Mission Springs Water District did receive the Business of the Year award. And then that afternoon, continuing on, Jim and I met with Mayor Mattis here and with Doria Wilms, who is the city manager, to update them on the status of our discussions with Mission Springs on the ID8. They offered their support and willingness to continue to collaborate with us and Mission Springs on trying to make that happen.
Okay, thank you. Same day, November 6th, there was a CiviLink grand opening celebration. This one in Indio. Director Nelson.
Yeah, that was at the North Jackson Park, and it's great to see like City of Coachella building parks right next to the link, and Indio has a beautiful park as well now, and it's all refurbished, and it was a good event, Indio focused obviously, and that was before our study session, but it was good to see a number of people there. Mike Wilson was there, former city councilman, now lives in Arizona. I came back especially for this event. So, that's cool. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That same day there was a special board meeting. Was that the Thursday? Because there was one I missed, and I don't know if it's this one.
Yeah, I think that was Thursday.
There was one that we had to get together for the closed session, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Was it this one?
I don't recall.
Sylvia, do you remember?
Yes.
Yes. So it wasn't a study session, right, Jim? It was.
There were two items.
It's the one that was in the afternoon, like at 4.
Yeah, it was at 4. It was
yeah,
at 4.
all right. So I was not there. So Director Powell, Nelson, everybody was there except me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So who wants to report on that? Nobody?
We had a couple items on a closed session.
Okay, good.
Ditto.
All right. Same day, I remember that somebody had mentioned the Valley Dust Summit.
I missed that.
Okay,
Did not attend.
I was looking forward to hearing all about it.
It was a long day.
Yeah. November 7th, another grand opening for CiviLink. This one was at Cathedral City. Director Aguilar.
Yeah, that was a really well attended opening at the Cathedral Canyon intersection of CiviLink. We actually, CVWD and our staff got a really nice shout out for our cooperation on the maintenance agreement that Dan presented today. And that was it.
Thank you. November 8th, that was the Lake Owea Veterans Regional Park ribbon cutting and community celebration. It says Director Powell, Nelson, Bianco, Aguilar, and myself were there.
I did not attend that actually.
Okay.
So, for the record.
I was there. Did see Director Nelson, Director Bianco, and I did see Director Powell. I got there right in time as folks were making comments. There's a big derby.
Yeah, did you win?
I didn't. No, I didn't fish.
Okay, I didn't fish either.
Yeah, I didn't fish.
Yeah, Director Powell gave a very nice summation of the history of Lake Cahuilla and CBWD's involvement, and there were many accolades from the community about getting the lease done, and so the county could make the improvements that they did. It's a real kind of love project of Supervisor Perez, which we thank him for. It's a good looking facility out there. All the grass was redone, a new pool redone, additional bathroom, and pavement with service connections for RVs. So a lot of things were improved, and it's great to see that the efforts of the district and who was recognized many times with our collaboration and cooperation on the getting the park open. So well appreciated.
Yeah, no, it was big. It was packed. The RV section, it looked like almost every space was being used up. So it's good to see that the facility is being used by the community. So I mean, I think that makes it worthwhile that we did all that.
Right.
Good. Let's see here. November 10th, another grand opening for City Link. This one was at La Quinta. Director Nelson.
Yeah, in the line of these, Tom indicated that instead of having a 4-hour long grand opening, they'd have six or so short grand openings, and this was La Quinta centric at Promontory Point, which is on the link just east of Jefferson Street, and it's a beautiful point out there. It's probably one of the largest CB Link land that's been developed, and there was City Council of La Quinta was all there, and kind of the same talks, and I was able to give a talk about CBWD's participation in the link, and to thank Dan and Carrie and the stormwater folks, all the efforts that they put into getting the link going. So I thought it was a good event.
Thank you. That same day, there was a CBWD, CBUSD 2-on-2 meeting, which I was not able to attend, but Director Aguilar, I think you were there.
I was. You were missed, Vice President Estrada. We did meet with Superintendent Esperanza, and Board Member Joey Acuna was there, and a couple of their operations staff. It was really actually a fairly brief meeting. There were 2 items that were discussed. One were the situation with the meters on the line on 70th, and we had a brief discussion on our rebate programs for the controllers.
Was the first item related to that new school on 70?
I'm not sure. Was that the new school, Carrie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. All right. All the rest of the meetings are for Director Bianco, so we will carry those on to the next agenda. And with that, is there a motion to approve the per diem?
I had one more meeting I
Okay.
went to on the 14th. I went to the Greater Coachella Valley Chamber of Commerce legislative breakfast. They hosted gubernatorial candidate Chad Bianco, and it was a good breakfast. He outlined his priorities, and had a reasonable answer for my question about his support of water projects in the state. And I was able to talk to him afterwards, and who knows how this goes, but it's good to for these candidates to get our CVWD's perspective on water projects and the need for bringing the state projects up to the 21st century and out of the 20th century. And so thought it was time well spent.
Good. And I know you and I were at Ag Vision. That was last Thursday. I thought it went great. I talked to Janelle yesterday about it. She feels good about it. I saw some good articles that were written about it. And so I was happy to see that both Jeff and Senator Bo were in attendance. I really like the story from Albert Keck and some of the other folks there, kind of recounting the history of what ag looked like, not that long ago. And it was good. I enjoyed it.
I think that I was there. What day was that?
Thursday of last week.
Thursday of last week. So I thought they, agriculture. I thought they should have had a water component to it. But I had been at a growing Coachella Valley event a couple of weeks before, and they didn't say they didn't really come out and say, but I guess I went a little long on water issues, and so maybe they were concerned that the water might take too much time of the Ag Vision, but certainly that could have been a component.
So the just a little bit of how this came about. So back in 1999, when Mr. Juan de Lara was mayor of the city of Coachella, the city hosted an Ag Summit, and that Ag Summit included participation from CVWD. They brought down the Ag Commissioner. They brought down it was big, and CVWD Tom Levy was part of that, and talked about Colorado River, obviously, which is crucial to all the agriculture out here. And that was the kind of the reason why this was gonna happen again. Hey, we had an Ag Summit back in the day. Everybody should get together and do it again. And it started off as a particular idea that then shifted. And I know that when it first got going, we actually had some staff from CVWD participating in that. and there was going to be a tour. At one point, it was going to be like a 2-day event where one day would be dedicated to the panels and things like that, and then like another day, a tour of actually going out to see. And there's going to be some videos that documented harvesting and kind of all the different processes and things like that. And then it evolved to something else for some reasons, and but it still turned out well. I'm hoping that it's the first of maybe others to come in the next years, and then that they gave us a chance. I for sure thought that you were there to talk about Colorado River water. That's why I asked you. And,
it was a good event.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. It was a good event.
Good.
Even without us.
Yeah. Great. Okay. So, any other meetings? No, there's no meetings. Is there an approval for the per diem? A motion.
Approval.
There's a motion.
I'll second.
There's a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. That carries 3-0. Moving on to reports, Mr. General Manager.
No, sir, nothing this morning.
Council.
Just briefly wanted to mention SB 852, which will go into effect first of the year. Board members fill out their form, their annual form disclosures, 700 forms, and they do so from the broadest categories because board members are public officials who manage public investments. SB 852 will now require that those particular Form 700s be filed with the FPPC. There are requirements that those forms be required usually with the county as a county reporting authority. Those will be filed with the FPPC. It doesn't change your disclosure categories, but it does include board members, treasurers, CFOs, investment consultants, those who manage public investments. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Any department updates, Jim?
No, sir, I don't see anybody rushing to the podium.
Good. With that, we're going to move on to closed session, and then we'll be back to reconvene. Thank you. All right, we are back, and we have reconvened from closed session. Council, is there any reportable action?
Yes, Mr. Vice President, the board met in closed session on items 13A through E. The only reportable action is for item 13A on a motion by Director Nelson, a second by Vice President Estrada, and a vote of 3-0. The board took action to reject the claim and to direct the appropriate notice be sent. And that was the end of the closed sessions.
Thank you. With that, this meeting is adjourned. Have a good day.